Hi guys, this is Rayisha and I welcome you all back to my YouTube channel. This is the third video in series of the MITACS GRI program. Those of you who are new to my channel, I would request you to head over to my playlist for MITACS GRI and you'll get to know everything there is to know about this particular program. This video is very special because we have a very cool guest. His name is Debojal Bakchi and he's currently interning at UQTR, Quebec, Canada. He is also pursuing his bachelor's in Earth, Environmental Science and Mathematics from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So we are very happy to have him here. So thank you so much, Debojal, for accepting this invitation.
Hello, hello.
Hi,
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to have
Hi.
you here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So it's amazing that we are in the same country right now, but obviously
Yeah.
we are in, different cities. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really keen to know how was your experience for this particular program, and I'm pretty sure it'll help all the future MyTax aspirants. So I would like to
Mm-hmm.
ask, like, how did you get to know about this MyTax internship program?
Yeah. The thing is that I had this clarity from like my first year that I wanted to apply for some research internship, most probably abroad, but then I wanted to apply for a research internship that was pretty sure. So I was searching like all possibilities, and yeah, universities and all doesn't really help out in applying all this process. So mostly you will have to figure out yourself, go into web search, Google stuff, and so on. I guess you also did similar things to find out all internship details and stuff. So yeah, I've selected out several of the foreign internships like DART, MITACS, and other ones like university specific ones. And I eventually got through MITACS and some other ones, and I selected MITACS. So this is like the process of
Okay,
me
so
selecting MITACS.
so you have a very particular research kind of mind. So
Mm-hmm.
probably you just came across this opportunity and I was like, yes, let's get ahead with it. And probably MyTax is one of the coolest programs out there because they actually pay you to come there and like fund
Mm-hmm.
you for the entire program, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah.
not possibly the same for all of the other international
Yeah.
internships.
Yeah, and also that MITEX have this like a pattern, like it is like a program. Mostly the other internship is not like a program. You have to contact the professors. You might get funds, but then this program setting is very helpful. Like in MITEX, you have this goals to in the portal. Once you get selected, you know that you get a goals list that within first month, within second month, you have to do this. That gives a very good structure to the program. That fits very cool. Yeah.
Exactly. So MyTax as an organization is pretty big and it's really doing
Mm-hmm.
a great job. Like you said, there's a proper student portal. Everything is listed out, the information, the deadlines that you have to keep in mind while making the application and stuff. So, since the 2023 applications are going to start very soon, that is next month. So, what did you keep in mind while you were going over the list of thousands of projects that were available on the student website?
Yeah. So I feel that in like the whole application process, the selection of the project is like the most crucial thing. You have to fill up all these details, questions. There are like 3, 4 research questions and stuff. That is okay. But then projects are the one that is like the most crucial part of the whole application process. So what I did is I spent a lot of time. I have a lot of friends in IIT who applied in MITACS and they didn't spend this much amount of time, the ones that I spent. But yeah, I think that is really helps you get an overview and an outlook to the various research problems that are going on. Even if you don't want to apply in all the projects, if you just have a look at the various projects that are going on, you will get to know what is happening in your field of research. So what I did is there are filters. Obviously, there are like
Yeah,
filters from your department, and then
yeah,
filters from your yeah. So those filters obviously help. And then I had an Excel sheet. So what I did is I first filtered out around 30, 40 projects which were in my field, and then I scored them. So what I did is I had two parameters of scoring for each project. So one of the parameter was how good is the project for me? Like, do I like the topic? The field is same as mine, but then how relevant is the topic as compared to my research interest? So on a scale of 10, I used to give a score on that. And then I had another parameter, that is how relevant am I to be get selected on that project. So if I am the professor, how probable is that I will select me as a student for that project? So based on that, I would give an average score for the project, and then I sorted out that on the basis of the average score, and then I filtered out the top 10. There are like other parameters, I guess, on like you have to select from, I guess, 4 provinces and stuff. So those are there. Other
3 different provinces, yes.
Yeah, 3 different provinces. Yeah. So yeah, those are there. But then I did this sorting, and then I kept in mind the other parameters. So this is how I did the whole thing. How did you do the process?
Oh, wow. Like, I did not make an Excel sheet and did a scoring on how likely is the professor going to select me. I just made a simple, word file and listed out the names of the, obviously, like in the beginning, I listed out which all projects I would I'm likely to apply to. And then I selected the top 7 on the basis that yes, it matches. I went through the student roles and the required skills. So if the
Yeah.
required skills matched what I had in my background, so I was like, okay, I'd like to give it a shot. And then I put the name of the project and the project ID and a bit of description about the project. Also, I went through the profiles of the professors for the project so that I can find out um, if they're a very big professors, then probably they would get a lot of applications. So according to that, I filtered out like maybe apply for a bit of medium projects and maybe smaller projects and like that. So can have some impact on your getting
Yeah.
selected.
Yeah. So one thing I just came to my mind from listening to you. I have seen like a lot of friends of me applying through this. Like there are many ways of applying to create your profile. One thing that I've seen is many students, what they do is they see a project, they look at the skills, and then they try to make their CV based on the skills that is required for the project. For example, say I'm working in computer science, for example, and say that I want to work in artificial intelligence. So what I do is I go to the skills of that project. I see what keywords are there, and then I pick those keywords and put that in my CV. That I don't think is a very good way, because it's not like a computerized filtering. So if MITACS would be using a computerized filtering of CVs, then this process would help. But then this is like the professors themselves look at the CVs, because each professor get around max around 20-25 applications, like the bigger ones. So they will personally filter the CVs. So that doesn't help. What I think is the right way to do is first look at your CV, find the keywords that are already in your CV, and then try to match that with the skills that are there in the project.
Exactly.
That way,
Even it will help you if you don't have the background in a particular project, and suddenly if you go there and you're bombarded with all new things, then you'll get stuck, right? So you should probably start off with what you already know and gain experience in that. Because if you do not have any experience in something, the professor is gonna know it anyway, either in the interview or if you get selected by any chance.
Yeah, exactly. And after coming here, even if you get selected, if you can't do the work, it's not really that good it's not really good as a student. It's not really good as a country, because that you coming here as you're representing India, then that gives a wrong impression. And then your university. So I will give you an example. What happened in my university in the earlier sessions of MITACS, a lot of students used to get through the MITACS internship, but they didn't eventually turn up to MITACS. They used to go to some other internship, DAD and something. And with that, what happened is the professors started selecting less and less of IISc students, because they felt like even if I select, they won't turn up, so what's the point of selecting them? So it really matters that your college impression, you are the one that will be building an impression for your college to the supervisor. So you should keep in mind that also while applying.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the right insight. Because they do have it in the back of their mind, the kind of pattern people are showing, the behavioral pattern they're showing. So that's very true. So, like, how long was your CV, if I may ask? Like, did you use the template that was provided by MITACS, or did you go maybe prepare one on, the latex overleaf? Like, what did you do?
So I did not use the exact MITACS template, but I tried to keep the sections consistent with the template. I had a LaTeX CV. It was around 1.5 page long.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I just quickly go through the sections, at first I had my university and my school details stuff, CGP and all those things. Then I just gave my 2 internship details. So I've done a lot of projects or internships earlier, but I just gave the top 2, which are like I felt the best of my work. I gave only 2 internship details. Then I gave 2 projects, which are done by me personally, not like for with some professor or something that I did myself. So that gives an impression that the student is really, interested in the field, that he's doing something on his own. And then I had one section called relevant courses, where I listed out the courses that I took in the university, but which are only relevant to the field that I want to do a research in. So if I had, say, 50 courses from the university, I just kept it out around 6, 7, which are very relevant to the projects. So yeah, that is the whole pattern of the CV that I had. What about you? How did you have it?
Like I use the MITACS template, so it was more in a tabular format. So because things are a bit cramped in tables, so like my CV got long to about 3 pages. But yeah, I like followed everything that there was in the MITACS template. But after like when I was through with the CV, I was pretty satisfied because it looked very clean. I detailed all the things that I wanted to showcase in like my skills that I wanted to showcase. So yeah, that's about it. So maybe people can either go with the overleaf one because it's more professional, or they can go for the MITACS template. So also like people have this question that if they want to apply for this particular research program, do they need to have a publication beforehand? Like, did you have a research publication before applying to this
I
program?
did not have any publication. What I had is I had my project reports. I hyperlinked those reports in my CV, and my project report was very strong. I knew the work that I had done is like very strong in the field, but I did not have any publication as such. I guess you had a publication, no? You had a research
Yeah,
paper.
I had one. And also, obviously, if you do not have a proper publication, you can obviously list out whatever, like in the 6 months that you have for a semester. Like in my college, it's like a 6 month semester. So they have certain courses in wherein they ask you to make reports. So you work diligently on those, and it really will showcase, yeah, you are actually know how to carry out research, how to do the literature survey, how to write the references and stuff, because maybe the professor will teach you that, and you can go ahead with that. So I guess that's not an issue because some
Yeah.
people
So
get a bit concerned.
yeah. So the thing is that you just need to showcase that you have a writing sample. Any writing sample would do. Your project report, your some course thesis, your publication. What they need to see that you have that research way of writing. You need not have that. As I said, you need not have the literature review, like a proper literature review and stuff. But you need to showcase that you can write a research article. So any writing sample does the job, I feel.
Absolutely. And what do you think? Like, what makes a profile stand out? What did you do anything like out of the way to make like what do you think made your profile get selected by the professor?
Mhm. So nothing really very specific to the project. That is something I really want to stress out. I see a lot of people while applying to the project, they make their CV very, very specific to the project. And that is very obvious. When the professor reads your CV, that becomes very obvious that he or she has made the CV for this project. And if that becomes obvious, they won't select you, honestly, because they will feel that you're lying. Even if you're not lying, they will feel you're lying because if say your the project on MITACS portal has 7 keywords and your CV has 6 out of them. So that becomes very obvious, right, that that you have made your CV for the project. What I feel is necessary is to be true to yourself while making the CV. That is very important. Also, while making the CV, is very important to link out things. So if you have a publication, that's great. You can give your DOI and even the name of the publication works because you can easily found out. But then if you don't have a publication, it's better to put links. Like I have my GitHub repositories of the project. I put the GitHub links. I have my project reports. I put that on Google Drive and I put those links. So it's very, and those who are putting links, please update to Google Drive and put the links because otherwise, I mean, no one wants to go to a suspicious link and see stuff. So yeah, that is for the CV point of view. And for the research questions, there are 3 questions, I guess, in the portal.
Once the projects have been selected, and then the student application portal like opens completely. There's one question in the portal for research interest, and one is for like skills and background and all that, and like.
So there were like 3 questions. One was for research background, skills, and all of these, like your like a comprehensive review of your of you as a person. And then there was one question on your achievements, and then there was one question on your research in specific. What have you done in your research? So so filling those questions is very important, and consistency is also the key while filling those questions. You have to be very consistent in those 3 questions and that with your CV. Whatever you have written in your CV. So basically, whatever you have written in your CV, that should be translated in words in those questions. So what happens is, from the professor's point of view, when they see the students, like when we see the projects, we see these tabs with the details of the projects and the skills required and so on. So when the professors select the students, they see the tabs with these 3 questions. And after reading these 3 answers, then they go to the CV and see. That is the primary criteria of selection, is first these questions and then they look at the CVs. So that will be your first interaction with your professor. That will how he will know you as a person. How are you? Should you read further or not? Those questions are the key there. So those need to be really consistent and very like reflective of what you want to do. The comprehensive question, where you have to write all your details, as in your work earlier and then what have you done. The first question, it is important to write down 3 or 4 key skills that you have, which is very relevant to your research area. And then also try to mention one achievement. You have a specific question on achievements, but then what I did in the first question, I mentioned one good, like best achievement of me. And then I mentioned 3-4 skills, and then I filled up with other filler words. That was the main gist of the first question. And the second question, I filled 4 or 5 key achievements. And the third question, I wrote about one research project. So this varies from people to people. I know people who got selected who wrote about 3-4 research projects, all of like major projects they have done in the third question. For me personally, I wrote like my best project till date, what I have done, and I wrote in detail of what I have done because the results of that project was very good. So I wanted to focus on that. So it really depends on how do you want to portray yourself, how do you want to sell yourself, honestly, because you're selling yourself here.
It was just 100 words, so it was probably, I felt like it was pretty tricky at first. So but once you have the things that you want to put down in your mind, then you can frame your sentences and just crumple it up to just 100 words.
So the putting everything in 100 words is tricky, as you said. So what I did is I had around 300 words initially. I wrote everything that I wanted to write, and then I removed stuff which are not relevant to me. So I did around 3 to 4 runs over the whole thing. So and I used to write everything in Word and then finally paste it there in the portal.
I did the same. And also in Word you can get the word count, so it helps. Maybe like the thing is that you get a lot of wordy sentences, then you can just remove it, and you yourself find out that these words are not necessary, they are just filler words. So just snip it and go ahead with the 100 words that you have. So
and you need not like give everything. You need not speak of everything in your research interest or skills. I mean, just keep the ones that are necessary for the project or necessary in your field of area.
Exactly. And maybe if you're applying to projects that are a little bit different from each other, then probably it's okay to keep it generic. But if you're like taking up a project in humanities and one in science, then then it would be a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, you should not do that. Honestly, if you want to go for humanities project, choose humanities project. Because at the end of the day, your CV should be at least tailored to your research interest in whatever field that is. If making a generic CV and getting selected is kind of difficult.
Exactly. That's true. So, like, you just have 3 days left and you would be heading back to India really soon. So how are you feeling? What all did you learn from this internship? How was your experience?
Yeah. So I'll just answer this in like two parts. The first thing is academia point of view, and then personally, what did I feel?
Yeah.
From academia point of view, the work that we did was very new. It's a very novel work. I think the first paper that came out I'm working in a heuristic, LNS heuristic, it is called. The first paper that came out was in 2018. So it's a fairly new field. Like the whole field is fairly new. There are like 3 or 4 papers on the heuristic as a whole, and then our problem is the first we are solving. So that way I got to learn a lot of new things, and I had like several meetings. So these meetings are really, really enriching from an academia point of view. So that is obviously, if you're coming to a research internship, you want your academia to be good on that side. But on the other side, on a personal level, I think the experience that I gained in last 3 months, I think staying back in my country, staying in my university city, I guess that's like a 3 years of experience condensed into 3 months. And the reason I say that is because so when you are in a different country, what happens is everything is new for you. The rules are new, the customs, traditions, everything is new. And you will screw up. So I'm telling you what happened with me, you screw up things. And then you have to do damage control of whatever you have done. So once you do these damage controls, your gain that you get in your experience is pretty high. So I'll give you some examples. In places I had, say, 1 hour of transit time. So I was visiting several cities. And I really recommend those who are coming through Canada or any research internship abroad or somewhere, please visit the places, the various cities and stuff. I mean, you can sit in your home and do your internship very well, but you should visit new places. And I mean, that is another very important aspect of these internships, is not to grow you as in academia, but also grow you as a person. So once you go to different places, traveling alone. I had never traveled alone earlier. I guess 1 or 2 times. Mostly I used to travel with my friends. But traveling alone to like from a day-long journey from the morning to the next day morning, overnight on trains and stuff. That is something I did new after coming here. And and as I was telling, there were situations where there was like a hour-long transit time, and it was very difficult to catch the other train in like an hour-long journey, and you have to rush through places, and you have to really ask for help from sometimes. As me as a person, I'm very introvert, so I don't really go and ask people randomly that help me out here and help me out there. But you have to really put yourself on the edge. You have to push your limits to understand what's going on to survive, honestly. So that way you will gain a lot of experiences here, and so you will grow as a person in this 3 months. So how did it affect you? I guess you have spent around 2 months now.
Yeah, it's 2 months. And you have really explained it very well. It goes the same for me, and I'm probably sure you would have added new dimensions to your personality. Like you said, you were an introvert and didn't go out and ask for help. So, but probably you did have to do it when it was a Rogers outage in Canada, all over Canada. So you were like, I remember, like it was quite a problem for a lot of people who were like traveling during that time. So. And the language becomes a problem sometimes because not all people are very comfortable in speaking in English, like the people who are native over here, but they still manage to help you out a bit, maybe call someone who is. The people are.
And even you have to, try to communicate. I mean, put out the language barrier and try to communicate over the language barrier. I mean, that way you also gain on your communication skills.
Exactly.
So,
the thing which I tried sometimes when they were not getting what I was saying, try some actions and maybe then they get. So it's all sign language. Okay, are you getting it now?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of like we catch up some French words like here and there, going to the exit word, like looking at Swati and stuff. So once you pick up some French words, we speak like some English, some French mixed up, and they also understand some part of it. They try to guess what we are speaking. So yeah, I mean, the communication skills will improve obviously, and we will learn a lot of French words. At least if you come to Canada and you come to Quebec, those who are coming to Quebec, I'm sure they will learn at least 10 sentences in French for sure.
Absolutely. So, did this internship bring any clarity as to what you want to do going forward?
Yeah. So the thing is, I had a bit of clarity on what I want to do from my second year of my university. But the thing is, as you said, like in the beginning of this discussion, that my major is in earth environmental science and mathematics, and like I'm doing on like two different topics which are not really much related to each other. You won't see a lot of people working in earth environmental science and mathematics, and my research interest is on the computational side of like the earth environmental science. So honestly, I did not know what are the possibilities of a computational works in computational field in earth and environmental science. I had been working on transportation, but then that was the only thing I knew from the like environmental point of view and the computational side. After coming here, I came to know about two new fields. One was in the recycle side on logistics. You can work on the environmental side of the logistics and then optimize all of that using the computational view. And then I got to know about a completely new field, which was mining optimization. So what happened is I was searching like prospective PhD positions, and I met a professor, and he works on mining optimization. And we had this meeting. So it's very interesting. When I went for this PhD, it's not like a proper interview, but then that was our first meeting, and he would judge me as a person whether to take me or not. So in our first meeting, he didn't ask me anything from academic point of view. Everything was like a discussion, and he wanted to know what are my interests and so on. So most of the time, he was speaking of his lab, what the research work they do, and taking my views on that. That was like how it went. And what I understood from the whole discussion was that that was a completely new field for me. I never knew about this field. So that will really help. When you come to here, like there are fields which are not popular in India, but very popular in like different other countries. So when you come to a different country and try to meet people, that is something I really recommend to those coming here. Try to meet as many professors, as many people as you can. That we will really enrich your knowledge. And yeah, so I came to know about this new field. Also, while I speak of this professor, something interesting came to my mind while we were discussing about this application process. So when I was like, how do professors select you? What do they look at while selecting you? That is something we were discussing on. So I had this discussion with this professor, and he asked me that what you work on, what are your research interests. So I was telling him that I work on this, I have done this. As from the last 2 years, I'm working on this. And he had no expression on his face. He was just looking at me with a straight face. And then at the end, I said, I really love working on these topics. And then I saw a smile on his face, and he said, yes, that is what is important, that you like these topics. So while applying for the internship or while applying for anything, what the professors really want to look at is that you love the topic. You have to portray that you really love what you are doing. Because I mean, say in computer science, I can give you a lot of examples. People working in AI is like endless people are working in AI. So why would they select you? I mean, it is very less likely that you have the best skills among everyone applying. So what they really are looking for is that, I mean, once the skill set is reached, everyone is similar for this project. You don't need someone extremely expert in AI to work in an AI project. Once the skill set is reached, everyone is similar for the professor. What they are really looking for is that how much they really love the project. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, so perfectly well put. Absolutely. Like everyone's on the same level. They want to know like how are you going to be different from the pool of maybe, I don't know, for very popular professors, like hundreds of students who would be applying for the same project. So like I've talked to a lot of people, and I've also gotten to know some people get really lucky. Like they probably won't have that much like those skills, but still they get selected because of the way they presented their CV and how they talked in the interview. So that is very
the thing is, in undergraduate level, the professors don't really expect you to know everything or have a very big skill set. If you have the interest and if you can portray that through your questions and CV and everything, they will probably select you, because they want to nurture you in such a way that you fall in love with the topics in the field. So if you have that, that spark in yourself that you want to do something, that will eventually get reflected in your questions, the rationale, and your CV, and eventually get reflected in front of your professor. So yeah, that you can say many people get lucky, because they really want to do something probably. And yeah, some amount of luck is always there in every foreign internship. So
exactly. And the people who actually got selected for this internship and maybe other like international internships, they should be really grateful, because it is a holistic and overall improvement in your personality, not just academic, but you get to meet a lot of people. There are a lot of networking events. You can, if people are into that, they can go there and also meet a lot of new friends. So it's pretty
yeah, exactly. The networking opportunities are endless. So I have this friend in my university, and she has worked on a electric vehicle project earlier, and she has very nice entrepreneurial idea on which she wants to work on. And she was not really, getting a lot of contacts to network and to put your idea to someone, get funding and so on. So there was this networking event that happened, and a lot of artificial intelligence and electric vehicle people, and then people working in machine learning and stuff came in this networking event. And so she didn't go, but a friend of her went, and they are having a good talks now with those people, and they probably might get a funding. And so yeah, those networking opportunities are endless. You can come here if you have an entrepreneurial idea. You can meet with people. You can even get a funding for your project. So
it's all about like how much research that you put in, and also searching out these opportunities, because you probably won't get them like just like that. Not a lot of people know about MITACS, right? You have to dig it and find out. Some in some universities there are seminars, so probably some students got to know from their YouTube channels, and there are other modes also from where you can get to know. Like in this video, we get your insights on how is this internship opportunity, and should we apply for it or not, and how to apply for it.
One thing I just want to speak on, something just came to my mind. I know a lot of people who constrain themselves from applying to all these internships, thinking that they don't have a very good CGPA. I think this is like a major factor of people applying. They feel that I have a 8.2 CGPA. I don't want to apply. I won't get selected. So firstly, I had a very poor CGPA. I had 8.4. I think 8 is the cutoff to apply, and I just near the cutoff around 8.4, and I still made through. So CGPA is not a major deciding factor that I want to put very clearly in this video. If you go to Quora, if you scroll through the answers, I think there are around 15 answers to the CGPA related question, and I guess around 13, 14 have said that CGPA is important. I don't know why, but CGPA is not very important for research internships. Yes, obviously you need to clear that cutoff of 8, and they have a cutoff for a reason, right? I mean, if they wanted to take people above 9, they won't keep the cutoff at 8. They have a cutoff 8 for a reason, that they think that after 8 you are eligible for this. So even if you have 8.1, go on and apply. I mean, that you lose nothing. There is no application fees. You lose nothing. So go on and apply. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think like you have summed up almost everything in a really cohesive manner, and it was perfect, like talking to you. It was really interesting and fun to get to know your insights, and I am pretty sure you had a wonderful experience interning over in Canada, and it has been a wonderful experience, and many more to come.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, all the best for your last month. You have 1 month left, right?
Yeah, I have 1 month.
All the best for that.
So thank you for coming here. Bye.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye-bye. Bye.